Can't concentrate now.
Oh, well, he's all stressed because the lady from MTV's here. She's going to film his little face.
So
the things he said in the week, he was so worried. He's got worried about the spot on his head. That won't come out. Just you got your best side.
He's on that side. That's all right.
Oh, yeah, the camera's out. Look, he's getting nervous now. Okay, Carl, ignore the camera. Okay, just ignore the camera. Okay. Now, me and Steve have done our research for you, and we've got two amazing things to tell you. What should I tell them first, about the baby or the...
Well, they're
crab?
both equally fascinating, so you choose.
I'll tell you the crab thing first, right? Steve actually saw this thing in The Guardian the week about our research thing, and then we looked it up, we looked into it on Friday, and it is incredible. Right, listen to this. There's a thing in a bay in New England, right, where it's like the biggest... they make silicon chips and stuff for computers, right? And because of the data protection thing, after they've done them, because they have to destroy the plates, right? Well, the information's sort of put onto them, but there's still flakes of silicon. They sort of grind it down straight away, and some of the flakes got into the bay, okay? But some of the information's still on even the slight granules of silicon. Anyway, gets in the water, and silicon is rather like a carbon derivative. They reckon if there had been life on another planet and it wasn't carbon based, it'd be silicon based, because that simple sugars and proteins, it's just COH and that, and it can work with silicon, right? Anyway, the crabs have been taken up, it's on the water, and they looked out on the beach, and over years the crabs have started sort of putting themselves in formations, like geometric form, and they couldn't work out why they were doing this. And when they put them in the experiment, they sort of like chopped them up, and they found they'd taken on silicon, and it had sort of got into their brain, and they were downloading information. They picked up little things, because it's just chemical, like electrical impulses had got information off the silicon chip, and they were interfacing it. But this is the amazing thing. One bloke sort of thought of this, and he thought, well, if it's a simple computer with a brain, if it's just a simple sort of electrical thing, then maybe there's sort of we could get it down. So what they did is they made a thing called a biointerface, and they put it into the crab's brain, just a really simple brain, so it's measured avant-garde, right? And it got impulses from it, and they were getting like computer readouts, just flashes of like symbols and geometric things right on this screen to read the crab's brain, and it was stuff like fragments of a
what made them do this in the first place?
Because they saw the crabs behaving differently. They were behaving differently to each other. They were just like, they were, intelligent, and they were sort of solving problems and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, when they downloaded the thing, it was like they found one of the secretary's names where it had been on the silicon chip, where it was just like a flash of a computer screen. But the most amazing thing is, they downloaded a memory, right? It was like a snapshot where it had been burnt onto the retina of the crab, just a snapshot of something, and it was like a picture of the beach, like a couple of years ago, right? And they also did incredible. It was like just a digital black and white sort of thing, so they could see what the crab had seen.
Amazing.
Jeez.
Amazing.
So
intelligent crabs.
What are they doing with them now then?
Super brain.
Well, they think this is the upshot. They think they could use it as spy crabs, because they could get these crabs. Also, the other thing is, as generations went on, right? So they put a crab in the sea or something, right? Lots of crabs in, and then as generations went on, a newborn crab, they downloaded the memory, and it had the memories of its great all together. It had every memory that any crab had been related to it beforehand, because it passed it on. It just passed it on.
So not even ones that had been eating the silicon stuff.
Yeah, no.
These are just like ones that have had kids.
Yeah,
and they've got like,
and they know so you'd know everything. Your everything right the way back.
So would that work if we ate silicon?
Well,
possibly.
So what are they going to?
Well, they can use them for all sorts of things, though. I mean, that's what's incredible. I mean, I don't know how you train it particularly. I don't know, it'd be quite tricky to train, but I'm assuming if they can do it that way, then presumably they can give it like certain silicon information, which they can then plant in it, if you like, within its sort of food.
Also, if you get them onto enemy beaches, you'd have like 1,000 digital cameras just
sneaking around. You could get like Osama bin Laden or someone.
They don't understand the information they've got.
No, they don't know they're doing it. They just download a message.
So they're not like you could torture them and they wouldn't be able to sort of give give you the information because they wouldn't know what information they had because they're just.
But the first crab they downloaded, they just kept seeing the same picture of a big crab feeding it, which they
really,
yeah,
wow, that's what like its mother crab or something.
Yeah, it was memories of it as a child.
But they're not in colour, presumably. Because
no, it's all in black and white. It's just a digital camera because it's just they don't see in black and white, so it's just like a I don't know. I think it's burnt onto the retina or something. And the only one that they kept were the ones they saw a lot of the time.
Wow.
I mean, in a way, some of the educating Ricky I've got for you today is on the similar lines.
Right.
Oh, you've got to be impressed by that. You've got to be impressed by that.
That's pretty good. I mean, I'm interested to see, what they do.
What they do with what the crab developments are.
But yeah, no, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, just digest that information because that's not even the most impressive one we found.
I think it is.
I suppose it's pretty impressive, but the next one's maybe more shocking.
Okay, so that's the crabs that you can download their memories.
But what about other animals that are in the sea, in that same sea, eating the stuff? Have they tested them yet?
I don't know. I think they just took it on because their biology, something to do with. I presume they can take up minerals, and I don't know why. I don't know. But anyway, next one. It's just on the horizons. A bodybuilder, yeah.
This is freaky.
Married another bodybuilder,
yeah.
Right, and they're pregnant, and they had these tests, and the baby was very large, but it was causing it pain, right, in the thing, right, and after this
is extreme. It's almost bizarre, and like
after the female woke up pregnant after 7 months, and the baby
was walking around.
No, it forced its way out of the vagina.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it forced its way out.
And it was because it almost had like super strength, like,
and it was pulling her along by the umbilical cord, and and it was a stone.
Extraordinary. That's freaky. I mean, you're talking about freaky stuff.
That's made up.
What?
It wasn't pulling her along.
Well, no, it was pretty. She could feel it.
Exactly. And it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, just went and just sort of squeezed its way
got out because it was ready, because all the hormones.
Because it thought it was ready.
Oh God!
Imagine that. Just waking up and finding that in the bottom of the bed. Freak out, wouldn't it? Because you'd think it was a nightmare initially.
And it had hair and everything, didn't it?
Yeah, because all the hormones. Like a hair, almost like a beard.
There was something in the week about you've got test tube babies and that now, haven't you? But they've managed to do it. I only caught half
I
the
knew
story.
he'd be more impressed by the crabs than that. He doesn't care if it's human.
No, I am. I'm telling you though that there was something. I only caught half the story because I was busy. But there's something about babies being able to be born without having any people involved, or something. It's like putting them in the oven or something, and it's like a cake. And after a certain amount of time, it's ready.
I think you can buy those in Argos for kids at Christmas.
It's my first baby kit.
Yeah. There's Play-Doh, I think, that they can buy.
Yeah. So what do you think of that then?
The baby one.
Yeah.
I prefer the crab one.
Yeah.
But the baby thing's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
So it was bigger than like the average.
Both made up. We made those up.
Yeah, they're both rubbish.
They're both
they are
bullshit.
both rubbish. Despite the fact they're both rubbish.
Yeah.
They're interesting.
We made those up. Both those stupid stories up.
Yeah.
Imagine downloading a crab's memories and seeing its mum feeding it as a child.
Both utter rubbish.
I had trouble.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to have trouble with pushed its way out of the vagina.
Yeah.
I practiced that about 30 times yesterday with Stephen. I was going, I'm not going to be able to do it, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to say that.
Yeah.
Are you disappointed?
A little bit. I mean, the baby one's a bit sort of out there.
Yeah.
I wasn't really having that one.
No.
But the crab one,
See, now, what's interesting, I think, is a useful experiment, Carl. I don't know what it's taught you about yourself, but would you say that that's revealed to you a certain thing? I don't know, maybe that you're a bit gullible. I mean, what I'm saying is maybe you shouldn't accept or swallow hook, line and sinker everything you read on the web. Do you not think maybe a valuable lesson
I
there?
feel bad because I said to Steve, he won't be annoyed that we conned him, he'd be annoyed that they're actually not true. You'd love that crab thing to be true, wouldn't you?
it wouldn't surprise me if it did happen one day.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and then you'd laugh.
And it's in the break when I said about the crabs, you went, well, I'm keeping them then.
Yeah.
Yeah. A crash course for the ravers, eh? That's what this show is, isn't it, Carl? Crash course for the ravers. They tune and they go, wow, that's so cool. I wish I was like Karl Pilkington.
You reckon?
Yeah, definitely. You've got to read your mum's clues out, didn't you?
Yeah,
These are just for fun only. This is Carl's mum. She listened one week and now she sends him a little example of Rockbusters every week.
She's got, what did she send? This group would go well with your Christmas dinner.
Cranberries?
Yeah. They make a few good cupboards.
They make a few good cupboards.
Yeah.
The carpenters.
Carpenters. I was thinking of EMF.
What else?
I was thinking B&Q. The B&Qs.
This group thinks of lots of things.
This group thinks of lots of things.
Yeah.
Go on.
Imagination. I think they're the best ones.
Yeah,
well, if they're the best ones, let's hear the others.
obviously we want the worst ones then.
Here's one more. She'd really like Blackpool.
She'd really like Blackpool. She'd really like Blackpool.
Fairground attraction. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Right, so there's...
Does she write anything else in the letter, or does she just send them like on a scrawled on the back of, I don't know, a till receipt?
She did with the first one.
Quick
Now
save.
it's just the Rockbusters.
Right.
Really?
She doesn't bother asking how you are. Or...
Well, I'll speak to her in a week on the
Right.
phone. So it doesn't-
What kind of conversations would you have then with your
What do you
mum?
say?
Sort of stuff?
Do you moan
saying
about
that
how overworked you are and stuff to her?
they're always surprised when I'm getting in late, and that it's like, what have you done today? Well, I've just got in from work, and it's like 8:30 at night.
A lot of people get home at 8:30, Carl. Next.
Just saying, how's the flat going? I was
Yeah.
asking my dad some DIY tips the other day. Usual sort of stuff you talk with your mum and dad, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about the Bisons with them. I was
With what?
watching. Did you watch the Mammals in the week?
No, I missed
David
it.
Attenborough.
No.
I was thinking, actually, right, all this MTV stuff, if there's one reason why I'd like to do it,
Yeah.
is I was watching Attenborough, the Mammals programme. I reckon I could do something like that.
Right.
And just have like me, instead of Attenborough, like a young, sort of fresh person,
Yeah.
watching, like, certain animals and saying, do we need these? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, God! What do you call it? Death on Earth?
Well, just-
That's amazing! Do
Yeah.
we need these?
And,
No, 'cause there's loads of
and the
stuff.
audience at home would vote. Would there be some kind of
Yeah,
telephone
like a
vote?
vote out system.
Oh,
But the
that-
thing is like,
yeah.
it's something interesting that Attenborough was saying the other night on
Do we need these?
on Jonathan Ross's show, on his telly show, right? He was saying, he said you could take all the humans off the earth and it would carry on, but take like some animals off it, and mammals and that, you got problems on your hands. I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like, the question is, do we need these? Is that part of the big thing?
Right.
Like jellyfish,
Yeah.
we've talked about jellyfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which mammals in particular were
You talked about it on
watching
Zoe
that you
Ball
thought-
show, haven't you?
Hey?
Which mammals were you thinking we don't need when you watched the show the other night? Any in particular that you thought they don't need them? They're not of interest.
Well, I like whales, but I don't know what they do. And they're taking up quite a lot of room.
Sure.
But stuff like,
yeah.
but like jellyfish, I looked into because
Yeah.
I
well,
was
know you
talking
don't
about them, and they were saying they've got no eyes, no heart. There's something like 97% water.
Yeah.
They're blind, and they do about 33 miles a day.
Right.
So it's like, do we need them? Could we clear them out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a big net.
And that would be the programme. What? Right, we'll get rid of them. Next week we'll be looking at
Rhinos.
I think it's genius. Honestly, I think it's genius. And like going along, sort of like picking up sea anemones and going and just lobbing them into the sea.
well, what do you think about MTV doing that? And then I just, in between the bits,
Play music videos?
I play music
That
related
relates
to
to
fish, so I could play like Fish,
Yeah.
that rock guy, or the
Rock-
animals,
Rock lobster.
yeah, or what else could
This
I
could
get in
run
there?
and run.
What other songs have got animals in them? The
Well,
monkeys, could play the monkeys.
Yeah, there's about 1 million, so let's not start this.
no,
yeah,
but
yeah.
do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
So do we need this?
So MTV
Carpet.
flies you around the world
And
to the
you-
most incredible exotic locations. You sort of climb up a tree or whatever, and next to, I don't know what lives up a tree, some kind of rare parrot. You say, look
Sloth.
at that, it's colourful,
Sloth.
it's interesting.
Oh, you like sloths, don't you?
no, they just live up trees. But I'd say, do we need them?
Why?
Well, what do they do?
What do you mean? What do they do? What do you want from an animal? Carpentry. What
Well,
do you
like,
want?
I don't like scorpions, right?
Right.
But then I found out they look after those monkey things.
They're not monkeys, they're
Whatever.
lizards.
Well, all right, yeah, them lizards. They look after the lizards. So there's a reason.
But do you need the lizard? Could be your
Well,
next
yeah,
question.
because the local people made shoes out of them.
But not when the scorpion protected them, they didn't.
All right, we don't need them then.
Okay. So ultimately, would anyone decide? I mean, do the animals kind of get a chance to mount a case for their survival? I mean, is there maybe someone that comes into their corner and sort of defends them?
I'd have like a David Attenborough type character who says,
Right.
"Well, they do this," and I'll go, "Yeah, but do we need that doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does an animal need to do in order for you to feel that it sort of gets a chance of life? I mean, like a pet, like an animal, like a dog maybe, or a cat. I mean, they give a certain affection to its owner. Is that a valid reason to survive? Not particularly for you.
Not really.
No, okay.
I mean, saying that though, blind people use dogs, so they are useful.
So dogs are useful.
Farmers
Saint Bernards,
use
they often
dogs.
save people, don't they, in
Yeah.
snowy weather?
Cats. I'd have to think about it.
Okay.
Keep the mice down.
Yeah, but you got rent a kill.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is something that will affect the world.
Right. I think you'll find everything does.
Except Carl. I'm not sure what effect he's having on the world.
I tell you what, though, Steve. Right? Did you watch the mammals?
I didn't see the mammals.
They had bison on it.
Right.
The weirdest looking things you've ever seen.
Yeah.
They've really
Again, you're on dangerous ground here,
no,
Carl.
but they've really got it's like decide what you want to look like. It's just a mismatch of stuff. It's got a really big airy head,
Yeah.
Unlike you.
sort of bald at the back,
Right.
sort of
It sounds
thinner.
like someone you went to school with. I was watching a bit of TV last night, Rick.
Go on.
I had a little thought for lads that might be out tonight, you know, on the Raz.
Yeah.
Maybe they get a little bit of success with the ladies.
Yeah.
This was something that struck me as I was watching it. A lot of gentlemen, you know, when they're engaged in, you know, an act of, you know, relations with a lady, they like to sort of, you know, think of an image or something that will prevent them from, you know. And you catch my drift. We're men in the world.
Grandmother's funeral is the cliche, isn't it?
Exactly. And I'll tell you what I think it should be. Rick Waller jogging. I was watching Fit Club. I have
know.
never seen anything
I
like
liked it when
Rick.
Harvey lost it with him.
Oh man alive. I mean, I know I slag him off, but I don't really like him either. I just think he comes across appallingly. And I think, you know,
When he just walked away in that mid conversation talking to that bloke, they're doing it for his
I
good,
know.
really.
But he's like 31 stone.
I think he lost a bit. I think he's 29 now. Don't exaggerate, Steve. You're making him sound like a fat.
But you know, I mean, yeah.
That was close, wasn't it?
When having sex, you know, apparently thinking of Rick Waller helps.
Oh, don't look what's happened.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the reverse effect.
Yeah.
Oh no, me and
No,
Carl.
if you're with a lady, apparently
Yeah.
that works.
I know. He's out now, isn't he? He's out.
Did he walk out?
I think so. I think that's it. From what I can.
No. I think next week they kick him out because I read something about they get rid of him next week because of his attitude. And first time I read it, I thought he'd actually ate someone's hat. But it was
You lost me.
Got rid of him because of the attitude. Oh,
Everything you think of now is puns. You can't get puns out of your head, can you?
Oh, Carl, you're great. Look at his little face.
He's so
That
pleased. How
is
long have you been
good.
working on that? How long have
You've
you
got to
been working
love. You've got to give him that. That
No,
was
that
a
is-
real
no,
joke.
it is
Look at
genius.
his face. He knew it was funny. It was meant to be funny. He said it to be funny, and it was. Well done. Well done.
I'm just interested. I just want to dissect it because it was brilliant, and I'm wondering how long have you been working on it?
about 2 weeks.
No, it's good stuff. It was worth the wait.
I woke up this morning. Yeah.
Feeling fine.
It's not a blues song. And I turned my phone on, and it was from Carl, and it went, "Forget it, I've made my mind up." And I thought,
Wow.
what is that? And I phoned
Forget
him.
it. I've made my
Yeah,
mind.
I went, "Carl, what is it?" He went, "Oh no, it's about the text I sent you last night." I went, "Well, what was it? I just got this text." He went, I was just wondering, I was thinking last night. He said, supposing you had to have your hands removed,
Sure.
right? And the doctor said, well, you can either have them stay like that with stumps, or I can sew feet there. What would you have? And I was bleary-eyed, and I went, the stumps? He went, yeah. I went, all right? He went, yeah.
And then what was his follow-up text to that?
And then I got the text, it was obviously before it, and it went, and it was like quite serious. What would you do if surgeon's not doing your hands? Would you have stumps or the feet? Right? Now the way, when I said he's made his mind up, and I went the stumps, he went, yeah. I think secretly he decided on the feet, but was too embarrassed to tell me.
There's a little bit of what would you do? because
But why did you think of this? Why did you think of this?
Girlfriend's
this come
away,
about?
right?
Yeah, no, that's not why you start thinking bizarre
I'll
surgery
tell you now,
devices.
right? I'll let you into my little mind, right? Last night, I had some beans on toast, right? She was away,
It's good already.
She was away, so you had some beans on toast. She went wild.
Yeah.
right? Now I was stood up. I live on on a high street, right? So I'm washing up. I'm looking out the window. First thing that had my attention is I can look into other people's flats, right?
Yeah.
And it was weird how all these different lives were going on. I was watching them, and everybody had the telly on and was watching Volcano, right, which was on last night.
Right.
And I thought, that's weird, right? I can see them all watching it, and it was like a little Chinese lad who was dancing around in some underpants. And then there's a little old woman who lives downstairs who was reading a book, and she's always reading a book every night, and it's like, I have a better life than her. And then there's like some sort of bouncer who's always getting ready to go out late at night with all the black on. He looks like a bouncer. So I was watching all this life going on. I thought,
Did you witness some murder while you were doing this?
Yeah.
it was like that sort of Sliver film where that bloke had loads of tellies watching people's lives. So that was going on in my mind. And then I was washing up, and I picked up the plate, and I thought, it's amazing, isn't it? The human body, the way you can just sort of, I want to pick that up, and you do.
Yes.
And the way your hands work, right?
Yeah.
You've got 5 little digits, but it's just the right amount to do what you've got to do, right? So I'm cleaning the plate.
Sorry, Carl. Stop. It's just the right amount. Might be one of the most genius things I've ever heard said. I would love David Attenborough to phone you up and say, Carl, how do I word this about the evolution of the mammalian front limb? Just go, we'll just say it's the right amount.
But it is.
Of
One
course
extra
it is.
would get in the way.
Yeah.
And one less would just make it that little bit more tricky when picking up a bit of a slippery dish.
Sure, or buying gloves. Yeah.
A slippery dish.
So then I was thinking, imagine like going to the doctors and they're saying, yeah, everything's all right, your heart's good and everything, but
Your art's good? What, your Larry's, or...?
yeah, your heart, you're in good form and what have you. It's good news. I had Jono in earlier. He's not looking good.
Yeah. I had Fat Swaller.
But you're all right, but your hands need to come off.
Right. Blimey.
But
That's bad. Like, I'd get a second opinion initially.
But a better good news, I've got a nice pair of feet I can sort you out with.
Yeah.
And he puts them on, and then I was thinking, right, first of all, washing up, what would that be like? But
Steve.
that'd be tricky.
Yeah.
And then the second thing was, it'd probably ruin the sort of the shape of your jumper.
Because you have to keep putting the feet through there. Yeah.
And then I thought, but I could still cycle in
Okay.
to work.
You could run in.
Well, that's the thing.
You'd be really fast.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I thought I could still cycle because I could balance, and then I thought, but the only thing is I probably couldn't pull the brakes. Because of the little short things.
Yeah.
And then, like you, I thought, but then again, you're running in half the time. So that's what was going on in last night.
Right.
That's what I was thinking about.
Sure.
Did you
How
ever...
long did this take?
Well, how long does it take to wash up?
Right. Because I imagine you just being there for, like, all night.
Probably 25 minutes.
How long did the little Chinese fella dance for in his pants?
He's always doing it. Last night he was at it for like 10 minutes.
Just, yeah.
And his girlfriend never sits in the same room as him. She's always sat in the bedroom.
She's going, you dance in pants again, I go in next door.
Well, she was in the bedroom. She's always in the bedroom, sat on the floor, on the mobile phone.
Right.
All
Really?
the time, yeah. It's weird how people's lives are just like, it is like that Groundhog Day thing. It's like, he's jumping about in his underpants. The old woman's sat there reading a book.
Yeah.
And that's what got me thinking about my life.
Do you think
I thought,
she ever
Are
goes...
you sure she's not dead? Every time you look down there, she's just flicking through it. She's just reading this book. The pages never turn. She never seems to finish it. She never moves from her chair.
Are you sure the Chinese
Her
girl's
cats
going...
are dead around her.
I'm going into next door again. That little
Yeah,
round-headed
the
fella's
smell.
looking in. He's looking in at me. The bouncer goes, "Don't worry, love. I'll go and beat him
That's-
up." But
that's
he's always
true.
getting ready.
That's true.
They see you staring at him, washing up, going, "I could have feet here," and they get scared. The old woman's dead. Oh,
Carl,
dear.
can you tell us roughly which neighbourhood you live in, so that we know?
It's central.
Central, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, imagine if that little... Was he a Chinese fella, did you say?
Yeah.
Imagine if he was listening now. I'd love him to call in and explain his actions.
Well, he might be on some other radio station talking about a lad who's always washing up and looking at his hands in a mysterious way.
Yeah.
But do we know this doctor that would go, "Well, all right, Carl, you can either leave them as stumps or I've got a little pair of feet." Why? I mean, I told Jane this, and Jane went, Is that the only choice? You could say, "Could I have some dead man's hands?" Have you got any? Where do you get the feet from? Where do you get the feet from? Can I have? What would you rather have then? Human feet or monkey paws?
Well, I mean, that wasn't an option last night. If the doctors said...
No, it wasn't an option last night, but don't forget, it's in your head, Carl. This didn't happen.
No, but I'm just saying, at the time, that's all the doctor had to offer.
But, it's your head. You can go anywhere. No, it wasn't a real doctor to offer. It's in your head. You can go anywhere. You're not trapped.
Yeah, but if you can do anything, then you'd say we'll sort us out some other hands.
Fair point.
Okay, what's the next one? What's the educating Ricky?
I don't know... See, like I say, I was looking around, and there's stuff that is interesting. Right, I was looking on the web.
But there's no point.
Well, it's just that I found one about...
What's the point?
About a lad who 8 years old, but he's still breastfed. Now, I don't know if you can get anything out of that.
Is that what his mum said? What do you mean? I don't know if I can get anything out of that. You don't need to.
No, it's just that.
Where did you read that?
That was on the internet.
Oh, well, yeah.
You're always unspecific when you mention it. It's just it was on the internet.
Well, I'm trying to think what I put in. I think I put in Y to see if I'd confused the computer. And then,
Carl, you are...
No,
honestly.
I did a search, put in why, and it came up with funny things that, like, why is this person doing that? Why is that? And it had a picture of this 8-year-old lad, sort of, on his mum's nipple. And it was saying, is this healthy?
You sure that wasn't asking you that question?
What? I put in why? Just to confuse the computer. Like, we go, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, look, last week I was walking home with him, and I went, he was saying so much stupid, and I went, I've got a competition for next week. Let's do a phone-in, and it's called Karl Pilkington, Genius or Fool.
Yeah.
Right? And he went, No. I went, why not? He went, well, it'd be confusing because they say there's no difference between genius and being a fool.
They do though, don't they?
No, but it's rubbish, and people say there's a fine line between madness and genius, and it's a ridiculous soundbite. They don't say there's a fine line between genius and an idiot.
Well, the people who do are idiots.
Yeah.
So what would you do there though, just to sort of wrap that little thing up? What would you do? That lad loves his mum's milk.
What are you asking me to come up with?
No, I'm just
a title for the story.
No. It's just what would you do? Right.
What do you mean? What would I do?
Well, it's causing a bit of a problem in the area. Right.
What area?
In America, I think it was.
Oh, America are a problem, are they? George Bush is worried about this kid who's breastfeeding at 8.
Imagine it like this, right?
Right. No, so Carl, what are you asking me about this spurious story you saw on the internet?
I saw it on the internet. There's an 8-year-old lad. He likes his mum's milk. Yeah. And it's saying, is this right? Should it?
No, it's not.
On?
But what
do you want Ricky to do about it? It's not his responsibility.
Yeah.
No, but the little town that he lives in, they're all causing an uproar, right? Going, this isn't right. I can't let my kid play out in case he's in the garden with his mum getting a bit hungry, right? So,
oh God,
what should they do? Because his mum's saying, well, he likes it.
Yeah.
And he, what? So what do you do?
I don't know the laws.
No, but I'm not asking you to sort out the laws. I'm just saying, if you lived in that neighbourhood, what would you say? If you went up to him and said, look, everyone's getting a bit fed up with this, look.
I'd say, what would I do? What do you mean, what would I do? what are you asking me?
Right, it doesn't matter.
No, what are you asking me? What are you asking me and Steve and the public?
I'm just saying, say if you live next door to this woman.
Yeah.
Right? The kid's hungry, 8 years old. He's out playing on his bike and he goes, Mum, I'm getting a bit peckish. And he goes, all right, son. She whops one out. And he starts having his milk, right? You live next door, you're putting your washing out and you see this going on. You're getting a bit sick of it because it's gone on for months.
8 years, I assume.
Why is it your business? Why are you such a nosy neighbour that you're concerned?
What would you do, Carl? Let's turn it back on him.
Yeah.
What would you do?
What's your solution?
What would you do?
Well, I thought I'd say, right, why are you doing this? And she'd say, because he likes it. And I go, all right then, put it in a bowl first.
Genius.
And you think that would sort that out?
No, because I was thinking about the whole thing, right? And you do that when you're a baby, and everything's all right, innit?
Yeah.
No one bats an eyelid at a little baby having a bit of milk from its mum's breast, right?
Yeah.
You'd almost say it was natural.
But you grow out of it. It's like you don't see. It got me thinking about things you don't see, and you don't see.
Did you put this into a computer? Show me things you don't see.
What else don't you see?
Well, you don't see like an old man having a Twix. You never.
Oh!
So what?
You know the terrible thing about all this, Steve, is he's right.
You don't see it on
No, I know that's a terrible thing.
So what they have got, right? They've made old man toffees, haven't they? They've come up with Werther's.
Is that a song? Oh God! You don't see it.
So they've got their Werther's, right?
Yeah.
So,
look at him. You think he's giving a lecture at Oxford?
It's not going anywhere.
No, go on. Sorry. Go on.
I'm just saying.
Right.
You grow out of things.
Yeah.
And the old man, I'm sure when he was a kid, he'd have a Twix.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't look right, so he's having.
It doesn't look right.
So.
Right.
I don't think Werther's originals were specially designed for old people. I think they were sweets that just happened to have been made for years. That's why old people eat them.
Yeah.
They didn't go, hang on, there's a market here. I've noticed old people aren't eating Twixes. Quick, let's make some old man sweets.
But the little advert, he gives it to his grandson as well, doesn't he? He goes, I have a Werther's original.
Oh, I think it cuts though before he throws it back in his face and goes, get me a Twix.
I've got an interesting anecdote about the office. Carl, me and Carl went out, right? With me and Jane, Carl and Johnny and Gigi, wasn't it? Carl, talking to you, wasn't it?
No.
Wasn't
Gigi?
Is it important who went?
No.
Okay.
But we're walking down the street. Carl was there though, and he can back me up on this. We had a curry. We were walking back, and this little funny homeless fella, didn't he? He I got to tell it before I go, didn't he?
Yes.
He came up to me, right, and he recognised it. Talking's more difficult than you think, right? And he came up to me and he went, oh, he said, I've just nicked 5 of your DVDs from HMV. And he shook my hand. He was so happy with it, and I went, right, excellent. He went, all I do is I just swing the bag over the top like that when I'm going out. And he had a bag full of DVDs, didn't he? And he was so pleased to tell me that he'd stolen. That great.
He said they're going like hotcakes.
Yeah, he said they're going up. Of course they are.
Yeah, you're nicking them.
Yeah. I know. We get paid for them, though, don't we?
So not the stolen ones?
Don't we?
No. What do you mean? Did you sign them for him? I know you would, you idiot. What? So he just nicked 5.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
You say he was homeless, was he?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
No.
Surely, how would he have seen the show? He'd just walked past Curry's one morning.
Dixon's. Yeah, the telly.
Seen a trailer for it. Thought, interesting.
I don't know if he was homeless. I didn't go into his home
Sure.
life.
He shook his hand though, and
But he made Carl look smart. Do you know what I mean? So, but he wasn't northern, was he?
No, it was like. Do you know in the Fast Show with Paul Whitehouse when he did that character, that shady character?
Yes.
The spit of that,
Was
like
he?
a ponytail, t-shirt on, a bit too big for him, and just the movement and everything, really like a Cockney little cheeky chap type person.
a little Cockney cheeky chap.
And he just said, "Oh, it's you." Said,
Yeah.
you got your DVDs, got 6 of them from HMV, going like hotcakes they are." And then off he went whistling,
Yeah.
well chuffed with himself,
Yeah.
going like hotcakes.
What's he going to do with them then? Probably sell them.
Yeah.
How does he sell them? Where does he sell them? Does he go to people and go, do you want an office DVD? They're not nicked.
Yeah.
4 quid.
Yeah, exactly. Are these stolen? No.
No. They've still got the tags on them.
Well, it's like those people who, you're those cab drivers that you'll meet at sort of 3 in the morning who've just got a car,
Yeah.
and just went out with a car,
Yeah.
and just I'll pick people up and charge them.
Yeah.
I got in one once. I said to him, the guy just pulled up. I said, he said I was in like East London. I'm going back to North London. I said, going to Swiss Cottage. He went, sure, hop in. We set off. He went, do you know the way? I said, well, not really, no. I thought you'd know the way. You're in a cab, aren't you? He went, no, I don't really know the way there. I said, have you got an A to Z? He went, no. I thought, well, if you're going to go out just on the, just winging it as a cab driver,
Yeah.
2 things. Take a map and a torch. He didn't have
Yeah.
either. He said, well, I'll probably get to Camden. I said, right, I'll direct you from there. Drove on for about 5 minutes, making conversation. In fact, 5 minutes later, he went, do you know the way to Camden? I thought you knew the way to Camden. I don't really know the way. I thought I did.
Oh,
it was I mean,
let me out.
You know,
£4.
Exactly. And that's I don't know who's got that sort of time on their hands that they just think it's 3 a.m. I'm at a loose end. I think I'll go out doing a bit of cabbing. Educating Ricky.
The titles that are meant to sort of pull you in.
Yeah.
We've got what was it? Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Yeah.
You've got It's Not His Vault. And Get a Load with This.
Get a load of this. So, which pun do I pick first? I think I'll go for get a load of this.
Get a lobe of this.
Yeah, get a load of this. Yeah.
Well, that's a story about a girl who she was deaf, right, for 4 years, and it happened quite a bit back this.
What year? Or was it?
I think it was
ages ago. Was it?
About quite a bit back. She was deaf for about 4 years, having an argument with her mum, it said, which I didn't quite understand, because I don't know how they do that.
Yeah.
But she was having an argument, and a man pushed her against the wall, and she banged her head, and her hearing came back.
Okay.
Was she wearing a Walkman and it fell out, and she'd realised,
There's no explanation.
There's no explanation. Well, why is that teaching me something then?
So I knew you'd say this, right? So I thought, right, I'll stick something on it. Do you know that bees are deaf?
No, you can't just no. If you ask someone something they don't know the answer to, they don't tell you something else. I'll tell you something else then. I can't answer that. I'll tell you something else. Imagine that. If you asked a teacher, how do birds fly? Wow, if you're going to do that, tallest building is. I mean, what?
Well.
That was the equivalent, Carl, of running away when we asked you a question.
Yeah, the intellectual equivalent of going, look over there, there's a monster.
Yeah.
Listen, what do you mean? What she? Okay, so
her hearing.
There's no
came
explanation.
back.
There's no explanation, or you don't know.
Well, there isn't one, is there? Really, it's a bit
What?
weird.
Did the doctors not look into it?
No, I think they just said, "Oh, that's good."
But, so again, I don't. Where did this information? Is that if you read this on the net? Is that all they put on
There
the
was
net?
once a deaf woman who hit her head and she
And
could
her
hear.
hearing came back.
It was bizarre things about being deaf.
Was there
and-
three
Yeah.
Was there
I've
sort
got
of-
that book. Yeah, it's a good book. That
Was there three
Yeah.
more pages you just couldn't be bothered to read off?
Yeah.
No, it was just a little bit, and it
Was there a
said-
little picture, a cartoon picture?
No pictures. I just
And we
read
going,
it.
ow,
Look,
ow,
if you
I
don't
can
want to
hear.
know, if you don't want to learn, you know.
Yeah. Okay. It's Not His Vault. Let me have It's Not His Vault. You got to save this. This has got to teach me something. It'll be an interesting story.
Right, It's Not His Vault. This fella.
Yeah.
What year? Ages
Olden
ago.
times.
I'd say in the 70s.
Okay.
Would you? Any evidence for that?
And
Does he wear flares in the story?
Right.
Is that your
Story.
reason?
no, it's a bit like Yori Geller, this fella, right? Where
Oh, yeah.
he's electric,
He's electric.
and if he walks past the telly would fizz.
Uh-huh.
If he walked past the radio, it all goes like that.
Oh.
His hair stuck up all the time, and he'd be having a bath, and everything would be all right, and then the power would sort of switch on in his body, and the electric in his body made him jump out of the bath. So,
What do you mean so? What is that so? What does that so mean? You've given us nothing. You've given us nothing.
You'd have to at least give us the scientific explanation.
Yeah.
electric eels have 400 volts in them.
Oh, is this the running away again?
What was that one called?
Yeah, but but
It's not his vault.
But there's a reason that not his fault. It's not his fault. I thought it was going to be something about keeping it in a safe.
I think we should do these the other way round. I
It's
think you
not
should
his
tell us
fault.
the story and then we'll hear the pun.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Right, let's leave it. Right, last one.
Yeah.
Stocking, Aitken and Waterman.
Go on and tell me about that one. What's that? What am I going to learn from this?
Right, well, do you know the saying, put a sock in it?
I like it already.
Do you know the saying?
Yeah.
Right, well, do you know where it comes from?
I assume it's shut up, so I'll stuff your mouth with a sock to shut
Well,
you up.
Years ago.
Yeah. Sorry, am I right?
No, not really. Ages ago.
1970s?
50s,
Okay.
I'd say. Do you know the old...
I'd say.
do you know the old gramophone
Yeah.
with the big horn on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, well, those stereos didn't have a volume control on them. Right? So they'd be listening
Oh,
to
so you
their
put a
album,
sock in the...
and
mute.
you'd put something like a sock.
That's a real one, you see. That's taught me something. That's good. That's excellent, Carl. That is the only one that counts, like chewing the fat, if they're true. I'm assuming they are. It works. It's of interest. I haven't got it verified yet, but that is educating Ricky. That's brilliant. I will say the other two were more entertaining. So, you know,
do you understand the distinction, though, between that one and Electrical Man?
And, or I've hit my head, I can hear you, Mum.
Yeah. Can you see the difference, though? Or
not really, because when I read all three, I took something away from all of them.
What did you take away from the Electrical Man?
I just thought, imagine that. Imagine how annoying that would be.
But that's not education,
and it's not taking anything away.
Think about it, right? We take our lives for granted all the time, don't you? You get up in the morning, it's like, oh, I'll get up and walk for a shower. Some people can't walk, right?
Yeah.
This guy, he can't even have you know what I mean? It's nice to have a bath, isn't it, when you got time on your hands and you can relax. This guy can't even do that. He might be all right for a bit, but he's not really enjoying it because at any moment it could strike.
Yeah.
So he can't even do that. He can't comb his hair because it keeps going a mess.
Yeah.
He can't watch his
Not
favourite...
you.
No, he can't.
Does he fight crime? What does he do with his powers?
I think he just has to sit around because he can't work with machinery.
Right.
Because he'll probably blow a fuse.
Yeah, so he just sits around.
Think about it. What can he do? What normal things can he do?
Skateboarding.
Going for long walks.
Yeah.
Put a wetsuit on.
Well, he couldn't do that.
Why?
Water and electric.
No, wetsuits aren't actually wet. They're dry initially.
Just put a whole wetsuit on and walk around with flippers. And
A wetsuit's not like a dinner jacket that's like really wet.
Well, all I'm saying is think. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And what was the other one again?
The girl deaf, 4 years hits her head.
Yeah. That's just...
What have you learned from that?
What is that?
Well, imagine how happy you'd be. Remember that time when I nearly died when I choked on a Mr. Freeze Pop? Right?
No, tell us that one again.
No, I told you, didn't I?
Tell us again.
Yeah, but the people will remember it, and then it's...
They weren't listening. Go on. What happened?
It was ages ago when my mum and dad used to go out shopping on a Friday.
1970s?
Get the food in. get a week's load of food in the cupboard and that, and we'd, they'd come in with all the food, and we'd all be like, oh, God, there's no food left on a Thursday, really, so we'd all be hungry on the Friday by the time the food got in.
I love that!
And
That
I'd
they
be
wouldn't
like-
either. I imagine him like jackal puppies.
Yeah.
Just like licking your parents' mouth for food as they come through the door.
So they come in from the supermarket, they're emptying the box. Our kid had got some biscuits and what have you.
Frenzy, just a feeding frenzy, like pigeons.
I grabbed the Mr. Freeze Pop and knocked it back really quick, but it wasn't frozen, so I knocked it back so it was like a liquid, and it went down the wrong way, right? And I was choking, right? And I nearly died. It must have been about... How long can you go before you die?
A couple of minutes to do it.
I reckon about 1:50. Right, I was really close to dying.
How do you know you were close to dying? Did your life flash before you?
No, but I just was like...
There was loads of instances of him eating pops.
Yeah, exactly.
I just was dead.
40 of those.
Whatever, right?
What do
anyway.
you think you'd see if your life flashed past you? What do you think which elements would stand out for you, do you think?
What? Start now, go back. What do you remember? What's the first thing you remember?
As a kid?
Yeah, just anything now.
Being in the hall and having our dog licking my face.
That's your earliest memory?
Yeah.
The talked about, the acclaimed Educating Ricky.
Right, well, just in case anyone's new, doesn't normally listen.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm educating Ricky. Yeah. Do a bit of research in a week, find stuff, news, history, anything that's interesting. 3 stories, I give them a nice little headline. You take your pick. Yeah. Between now and 3, you're going to learn 3 things. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, the headlines are, I'll be no buying one of them.
Give us that again.
I'll be no buying one of them.
Nice, okay.
Yeah. We've also got hippopotamus news.
Okay. Okay.
And chicken, you believe it?
Chicken, you believe it?
Well, I'm going to go for hippopotamus news.
Hippopotamus news?
Hippopotamus news.
Right, well, this one, it's... I'm not going to take the credit here. I heard Christian talking about this on breakfast, right? Because it's a good story that happened. Basically, I don't know if I told you about it last week when we were having our spaghetti, but
I think you did.
Right,
I know what it is. I know what this is.
Okay, I've not heard this.
Right, there's a little midget, Right, there's a circus.
I'm loving it already.
Circus going on somewhere. I think it was in America. And
is that present day or old times?
I'm talking like in the last 3 weeks.
Okay.
Right, little midget circus, really packed out show. People are loving it.
Right, Steve, you'll ask the same question I did. I know.
So there's a little midget jumping up and down on a trampoline.
What circus is this?
Right.
I'd pay good money to see it.
So everyone's clapping, and he's getting carried away.
Because he can't believe they're loving it. I didn't know they'd like a little person on a trampoline, but they love me.
But you know what it's like when if there's a crowd of people sort of encouraging you to sort of go higher and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he knew it was getting out of hand. But he was jumping and he was coming down. They're all going higher, and he's going really high in the air, right? So he's doing this. Crowd are clapping. There's a hippo, right, just sat next to the trampoline, getting ready to come on and do his act.
Oh right, I thought he was in the audience.
It's hippo getting ready to do his act, Steve.
Yeah.
So
he's a ventriloquist.
What do you mean he's sitting by the trampoline waiting to do his act?
Because
why does he sit in the dressing room and they go, 5 minutes, Mr. Muss, 5 minutes, Mr. Muss?
So anyway, right, so the hippo's there.
He's getting annoyed, is he? Because the midget's
He's going, how can I follow this? How can I, this is really annoying. They're going to be, no.
So
he's thinking, he's already done the trampoline, my pogo stick act is never going to work.
Yeah, go on. So there's a hippo waiting. See, it's a great story, and I just know he embellishes it or it gets slightly wrong. Go on.
So
there's a midget jumping up and down. The hippo's getting annoyed.
The crowd are going mad. The midget's loving it. Can't believe his luck. Although you think he probably knows he's dicing with danger.
Yeah. So next thing you know, they're all saying higher, higher. He gives it one big, like, heavy sort of landing on the trampoline. Goes really high, but goes off at a funny angle.
Oh,
hypotenuse.
Okay.
Yeah. And sort of flies off.
Hypotenuse.
Sure.
Flies off at a funny angle.
Ooh, dear.
Hippo's there, swallows him whole. Crowd are clapping, thinking that's why the hippo was waiting there.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
It's not rubbish though.
But no, maybe there was an accident in a circus with a midget and a hippo. But at no point was this hippo waiting to go on, going, come on. The midget flew off at hypotenuse and landed in the hippo's mouth and was swallowed whole. This is what you embellish it. That is great. And
I have to say though, Rick, when I heard midget, trampoline, hippopotamus, I was thinking accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean,
it is that you should never put those three together.
Never.
It's a recipe for disaster. Everyone knows that. Midget, trampoline, hippopotamus. Are you mental?
You're asking for trouble.
Well,
you know when he told me it, he said, and the midget. He didn't mention the hippopotamus, and he said the midget went on, and soon he fell off. And the hippo ate him. And I said, sorry, what was the hippo doing there? He went, it's a circus.
I've never heard of a circus having a hippo.
No, what do hippos do?
What can they do? You can't train them, can you?
What do you
Aren't they like very deadly? They're huge, aren't they?
You can't have a hippo in a circus.
Are you sure?
You're not thinking of Zippo?
He's neither clown.
Yeah. No. And it wasn't some sort of where Zippo was eating a midget, and it's some sort of horrible sexual act.
No, it was definitely. I heard it on breakfast, right?
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, it's definitely fact.
Yeah, okay, right, okay, good. Educating Ricky, part 2. Right, what's the clues left?
Well, we've got left the headlines. I'll be no buying one of them.
Yeah.
And we've also got Chicken, you believe it? Chicken, you believe it? So they're the two that are left. Which one's you going for?
Chicken, you believe it, is not that picture, is it? That we saw.
Which picture?
The bloke with the...
No.
Right,
no.
okay.
God, that was bad.
Right, okay.
So...
I just better explain
we
that.
We can't really discuss this on air, can we?
Well, we can. Steve brought in, Carl, the best book ever, which is, what is it?
I found it when I was moving house. It's an FHM publication, and it's kind of like lots of grotesque pictures and stories, and like a book of freaks and weirdos and grotesques.
And Carl opened it, and the first one was like...
At the back.
At the back. Well, you couldn't believe your luck, could you?
What was it? What was number 50?
A bloke with 2 heads.
And he said, what's number 1?
Yeah.
And then number 6, there's a bloke who's a squid or something.
Octopus.
Yeah. Yeah. He's loving it. At number 1, he said, well, it's just a fella under a rock. And I went, oh no, read on, I think I know about this. And it's the fella that was found, he caused a landslide while having sex with a chicken. And they pulled him up, and there he is, the chicken.
Right,
so Carl could not believe his luck. So it's not that.
Can you believe it?
I'll have that one.
You're
then.
going for that one?
Yeah.
Right, well, we've talked a lot on the show about...
We've talked a lot on the show.
Yeah. About animals without heads.
We haven't! We haven't! We talked about cockroaches could live without a head for 7 days.
Yeah, we talked about that. And then, of course, there was the well-known one about the fella who had his head cut off, and he
blinked.
He said to his mate, "Count how many times I blink when my head comes off."
Yeah, when you told it to me, you said his head came off, and he said, as his head was in the basket, he said, "Quick, count how many times I blink." And it was Nick Frost that had to go, "No, Carl, no, he said it before." I went, and that was lovely. So yeah, we've talked quite a lot about things heads coming off. Go on then.
Well, this one, right? Back in 1945.
You looked it up the date.
It's got a specific date. Wow.
Mate Jonathan sent this one. You know him as well, lad at the BBC, right? He emailed this one in. So thanks for that. Chicken. It's called Mike.
There's a chicken called... Sorry, I missed a bit there. There's a chicken called Mike.
A chicken called Mike.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What happened was, it was living on a farm, right? Loads of chickens knocking about, and the owner of the farm is like, getting ready for tea, and his wife says, "Go out and get a fresh chicken because my mum's coming round." So he thinks, well, I want to get a good one in because I want to impress her. Cause back then, even then, they wanted to impress the mother-in-law and that. So they said, "All right, I'll just nip out and get one." So he sees Mike, chicken running around.
Is this during the war or after the war?
1945. I'd say that was after.
No, it ended. Well,
it ended in 1945.
Yeah,
okay.
September. Go on.
So chicken's running about. He thinks that one, that looks all right. I'll have that one.
Mikey.
So he picks it up, and he cuts his head off.
Oh.
Puts it on the block, cuts his head off, runs about a bit like they do. He thinks it'll stop in a minute. Keeps running about. Oh, what's going on here? Right? He's now like chasing a chicken without an head.
Yeah.
He's saying he should die in a minute. Anyway, doesn't die. Chicken's walking around with no head. Lives for 18 months.
Yeah.
Chicken with no head.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, I'll tell you, I've heard this story before, Rick, and the explanation, as I understand it, was that certain vital cords, spinal cords, weren't severed when the head came off. So that was why it continued to live.
Yep.
I don't know if that sounds plausible.
It's fine. Absolutely fine. How did it take on protein and energy?
The fella who owned it, he said, "Well, hang on a minute." He said, I could kill it now,
but I've got a wonder chicken here."
But he's thinking, it must really want to live.
Sure.
Right? If it survives that, I've got something here.
Yeah.
So what he does, he gets a little eye droplet thing that he used to use on it. Obviously not anymore, right? And he filled it with grain and water, and it had a big hole in its neck where its head used to be. And he
incredibly,
and he dropped.
You know what? I mean, that is possible. Then, if it, without infection, without infection, if he's taking on things, it is possible, right? Why?
Why what?
Why did he do it? How cruel is that? I mean, it's not cruel because the chicken obviously,
He said if he thought it was a bit fed up, he would have killed it. He said, but it was running around quite happy.
Well, it wasn't fed up at all because it had no brain.
Well,
what do you mean? Well.
I'm just saying what...
It was nothing. It was just sinew and nerves and electrical impulses breaking down energies, right? That's all it was. It didn't have a brain. So it was... But I'm worried about the psychology of keeping a pet without a head. I'm worried more about what the farmer was thinking than the chicken.
I tell you this, the question I'm asking is, was the mother-in-law impressed? I mean, that's why he set out. That's why he set out to shot Mike's head off.
This is lovely, but it's just the head where you don't kill a chicken like that all at once.
I thought we were having chicken for dinner. Come and look at this, running around the yard.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So there you go. You've learned something there.
Yeah, I have learned something.
Yeah. So. One more.
That farmer, I've learned that farmer was very strange indeed.
I have to say, to be fair to Carl, I have a feeling like when I read it, the reason he kept it alive was as a novelty. He got charged people to come and see the incredible headless chicken called Mike.
Right.
So here we are.
That's great.
I'll be no buying one of them.
Go on.
Are you familiar? with the same white elephant.
Something is a white elephant.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Hold on. You phoned me last night and said, what does white elephant mean? And I told you.
Yeah, I know, but I know where it came from, but I just was wondering what it was about.
So how, in what way is educating Ricky you calling me up and asking me something?
Well, do you know how it came about?
You've given away some of the secrets of the show there, it would appear. I didn't realise he was phoning you for information.
Well, he just asked me what the term white elephant meant in sort of like colloquial...
Did he say, why are you interested, Carl? No reason.
No, go on.
Well, what it is, ages ago when...
So what do we understand white elephant to mean?
Well, something that's useless, that's like a bit of a, something that you wouldn't want around that's just stood there doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Carl.
So years ago, when people used to use elephants...
Years ago, go on.
When people used to use elephants?
Yeah, more than they do now.
Right.
More than they do now!
This doesn't involve a midget, does it?
No. So they'd use them in the workplace and stuff. To sort of,
as factories.
Sort of,
yeah.
To move stuff
Tea
around
ladies.
and that.
Yeah, security guards.
Yeah. Can't trust them with the buns, though. That's why they stopped using them.
Oh, right. God, go on.
So there was loads of elephants knocking about, and the thing is, right,
you couldn't move from.
If you have a lot of something, you also have a lot of demic ones, don't you?
A lot of what?
You know, sort of demicky ones that aren't right, really.
Demicky?
Well, like they weren't properly. They weren't
properly.
Sorry,
what, Carl? What are you doing?
Right, I'm getting to the story. So what I'm telling you is...
They were a bit demicky, so they weren't properly.
Have you started making words up?
Right.
Yeah, you Stanley Unwin.
Listen.
Reincarnated.
Demicky?
Yeah.
There was a lot of albino elephants knocking about.
Okay. Where is this?
Olden times.
Africa.
Yes! Should we say Africa?
Yeah. If an answer's got a question mark at the end, I'm not sure
it's either Africa or India, but I'll give you the clue. Well, these elephants, do they have big ears or little ears?
I didn't sort of notice the size of the elephants. What I noticed is they were white because they were albino elephants.
Okay.
Right? So... that's why they're heading. I'll be no buying one of them.
Okay.
Right?
No buying one of them.
So, what would happen is people who didn't know what they were doing, like, you get people making a mistake buying cars that are full of problems and that. Back then, when people were buying elephants, they'd go up to someone, say, I'm after an elephant, and the fella would say, yeah, I've got one here for you. This is a nice one. Mm-hmm. And it was all white and stuff, and it had, like, blue eyes.
You should never trust a used elephant salesman.
This elephant that's white with blue eyes.
Right. So,
this is great.
So a fellow who didn't know what he was doing would buy the elephant and he'd get it back and it'd be all sort of lazy and stuff and what doing and stuff.
Yeah. Mm.
And he'd say, what's up with this? And his mate, who's a bit of an expert with elephants, and go, oh, where have you bought that from? And he say, I got it off that fella. And he goes, all this
embellishing nonsense he does with the story.
You shouldn't have bought that. So he goes, why? And he says, it's only albino, isn't it? And he's like, what does that mean? And he said, it gets tired. Yeah. It's not that good at doing work and that. You shouldn't have bought it.
It steals from you.
But elephants back then were like a god. You know what I mean?
Right.
You couldn't say, I'm sick of this and I'm going to abandon it or anything, because elephants were seen as like pretty high up on the chain of things. So they'd end up being stuck with an elephant that's an albino, couldn't do much, gets tired, basically gets in the way. So they said that's where they're saying, like, but a bit of a white elephant there.
What do you reckon, Rick?
I feel like I haven't been educated. I feel like I've lost something. So at a time in my life that I can never get back. I feel like I've sort of been soiled, and I don't know where to start. I'm angry. Do you know what I mean? I'm angry.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
And all that rubbish around. Look at his little face. What was all that shit about a second-hand elephant salesman and his mate knew about elephants? What is it? They had blue eyes. What are you?
Well,
albinos have red eyes for a start.
That's it. We've run out of time.
What? I mean, what are you going to do about this next week? Are you going to actually do some educating next week? And what about Rockbusters?
Right, Steve, you search for a winner.
I will.
At random. We can slip into that. So the first one was, the fella's only got one badge left.
I have no idea.
The initial was E.
Go on.
Will I give out the answer now?
Yeah,
Steve?
give me the answer. Yeah,
I think you should.
That was his last sticker. Yeah?
Elastica, the band Elastica. I'm not
doesn't
sure.
Work.
No,
doesn't work.
The word sticker and a badge are not interchangeable.
And it's not his last sticker, it's Elastica.
Yeah, but like Elastica. So someone's got it.
Oh, so say a different word and it works. Oh, so if the band is Elastica, then it works. God, if only Justin would have named it different. If she'd have just gone, let's call it Elastica, then we'd have, yeah.
Second one.
What was the clue?
The unmarried lady is a friend I eat out with.
Go on.
That's Miss Dynamite.
Miss Dynamite.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, but it's been running for 4 weeks. We've done the obvious ones.
Doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Miss Dynamite.
Again, if she'd have called herself Miss Dynamite, it would work. She didn't. See, what's happening is pop stars are letting you down by naming themselves incorrectly for your clues. Those don't work. They don't count.
And the last one, I really, really love that woman. I love everything she does. That was M.
Yeah.
That was Madonna.
Yeah, Madonna. I'm going to give you that. That work. Yeah. Right. That's the end of that feature until you can get ones that work. Okay. So you won't hear any more of that because it's rubbish. You're running out already. Do you just think of the first 3 things that come in your mind and make them fit? Just think of 3 bands and make a clue, and if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter.
I just went through the
rubbish. It was rubbish.
Whatever.
Just get this educating Ricky out of the way. So Turkey, yeah. So what is this again?
This is educating Ricky. Is a tip included?
Right.
Apparently, a fella was on holiday in Turkey. Just having a normal holiday. Weather's good. You know, he's having a good time.
Weight is all normal height.
Yeah. He's having his meal. He hears a load of screaming going on in the kitchen.
Hold on.
Has his girlfriend wandered in there?
And they do
with a step ladder.
Yeah.
the circumcised people in the kitchen, and apparently.
What are you talking about?
Whoa! Slow down. We were sidetracked there for a minute.
What are you talking about? I'm just excited about 2 things at once here. One, they circumcised people in the kitchen. 2, I guessed it was someone losing the end of their knob.
He did. Yeah.
I started thinking like Karl Pilkington.
Extraordinary.
That is amazing.
Apparently it was going on. It wasn't just a one-off either. Well, when I say a one-off, I mean they did it more than once.
Yeah.
Right. And there was. He was there for a week, and apparently the first night it was quiet, and then the rest of the week, every day it'd be like having his breakfast, or even his lunch, or even his tea.
Yeah.
Right? He'd be doing it all day.
Oh.
You'd be hearing
lunch
screams.
and breakfast, fair enough, Rick.
Yeah,
circumcision at tea time.
Don't do that.
And apparently it's a tradition over there. You can't even make a complaint about it. It's like, well, you should have found out before you come over.
See, I can't believe this is true.
Sorry, I'm a little bit lost.
Believe this is
he was
true.
in a restaurant, in a hotel, and there were people having circumcisions in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I'm even worried that we're bordering on the racist here, suggesting that is tradition that Turkish people cut the end of their cocks off in the kitchen.
Yeah.
At meal times. I think you're wrong, Karl.
This just sounds ludicrous, Karl.
No, I don't think it happens everywhere.
Right.
I think this
Just in
this hotel.
certain places.
Certain hotels.
Certain hotels.
What is it, like 2-star?
Yeah. Why did he go to the Foreskin Inn? It was his own fault, wasn't it?
So that's.
Sorry, that's it, is it?
Have they closed?
Sorry, no, wait. That's the story. You educated me, right? Once a fella saw some Turkish people cutting the tip of their knob off in the kitchen. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Karl. Got any more?
Well, there's things you can learn from it. Either don't go to Turkey.
No!
Don't have calamari when you're over there.
Yeah.
Karl, you've done it again.